Hi, everybody. I got Steven here with me. Steven, thanks for jumping on.
See you, Andre.
Do you want to introduce yourself and
Sure.
the organization you're with?
Steve Lang. I'm with CargoNet. We do cargo theft prevention and security solutions, and we do a lot of the intelligence and data sharing throughout the industry, as well as we've got a recovery network and just facilitate the industry into fighting against fraud and cargo theft.
Yeah, and I see your guys' statistics reference a lot. I'm told that it's the best figures that we got, but obviously a lot of it is still under the surface.
Absolutely.
But we got some trends, and they're not positive.
We do.
Can you share a little bit about that?
Yeah, we've been calling it now. It's just the new normal. We hit after 2023. It's just been high. It's just staying where it is right now, and it doesn't look like it's going to change, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're trying to help there, but it takes time to get that adoption. Weed out the bad guys, but just the level of sophistication's really changed. I guess for you, as you're looking at the data and the alerts you guys put out, straight theft is still an issue, right? There's still people doing it, but it just seems like people are getting lazier and they're not grabbing a crowbar and driving out. Now they want to do everything from a laptop.
We're seeing changes. We are seeing changes. We just put out our Q1 analysis, and the changes that we're seeing right now is it's no longer the changing an email address to just look like something else. They're just going in and they're completely just ripping off other companies, or they're buying the MCs, and then it's been completely different where we're not seeing any more of what we were seeing the last couple of years. Right now, we're really seeing that incidents where they're buying those MCs, they're stealing the identities, and then you're really just very vulnerable in that sense, because you got companies that you vetted, might have vetted them 100 times, and all of a sudden they're selling, they don't let you know. Next thing you know, they're coming to pick up your stuff, and they're not coming back and not going where it needs to go.
I always like to say the best case scenario there is that it just gets double brokered, right? Which is still a ton of risk, and there's no vetting done, and who knows what insurance, if any, they have, right? And then the real carrier, somebody's skimming off the top, so they're not even getting the real rate that they should be, and the scammers are getting that. But then the worst case scenarios is all sorts of nefarious intent and holding those hostage, diverting them, stealing them outright. It's just...
Absolutely. And we're seeing a lot of shifts in just geographical locations, like where it's been, Texas and California, with obviously California is always going to be the number one, but right now the Northeast is getting crushed. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, even parts of New York are just skyrocketed. It's overpassed Florida, Georgia, and Illinois. New Jersey is now our third most targeted state.
Yeah, and before it used to be that, like, if you're near a port, that's where freight was and that's where it got stolen. And now you're looking at the heat maps and people are getting hit all over because somebody stateside or overseas can just arrange for a load to be diverted and stolen, transloaded from a laptop. I think that's kind of the scariest part.
It's transnational that we're seeing. Well, yes, there are obviously gangs and things that are still stealing things. It's changing because it's not just the guys that are going to be stealing it at a truck stop. And not that it's been like this way for a little bit now. It's not like that part is actually new, but you can see just the trends of where they're moving and how sophisticated that they are, that they're not it's just very planned and organized.
Yeah, and what are your expectations, but also what are your hopes for the next few years?
They're always one step ahead, unfortunately. And from what at least we're seeing amongst the data, I don't know. It's scary out there right now. I mean, I'd expect, losses are going down, but at the same time, actual cargo thefts are going up. So, for example, our numbers were down I think almost 8%, while actual cargo thefts were up. So there's more targeted actual commodities where they already have these facilities, and they already have people that are buying what they're stealing. So they're going after the loads. They're not actually just they're targeted, and that's really what it is. They're targeted loads, and they have an easy way to flip them, and that's really, unfortunately, the trends that we're seeing is that it goes back to the organized crime, is whether they're selling them online or just getting it and putting it overseas. It's very targeted, and we're seeing more thefts of actual loads of cargo, as opposed to just because a lot of our incidents that we will report will be, tractors and trailers. They count for supply chain incidents as well, but the increase in the actual cargo thefts is not a good sign.
Yeah, and then the values keep going up, and the fact that they are targeted means They're not just stealing just random stuff. So,
Exactly.
FMCSA is making some changes. Better late than ever. Other companies are cropping up to deal with it, outside of just our own. So I think for me, I'm glad to see that. And I'm just hoping.
It's a good sign.
Yeah.
Getting them, look, the government's not going to fix everything. We shouldn't expect them to, but just having them involved and getting legislation in the right direction, hopefully will help the industry.
Yeah, and I'm hoping we just trip them up so they just go find another industry to
Yeah,
go
right.
exploit, right? Because the sophisticated guys were hitting banking, and banking kind of got it together, and we're not there yet.
No,
but
absolutely.
I think we're trending that direction, and I'm at least happy to see that, despite the current numbers and the current new normal.
You know what though? That's the biggest change. When I first started 15 years ago, and I was beginning to learn, they talk about they would bring banking into an example, and it's like, well, guess what? You rob a bank right now, minimum they say it's like 10 years in jail. Well, cargo thieves make way more money, and their
Slap on the
time in
wrist.
jail is way less. So
Yeah, and if you steal a $1,500 Honda Civic, that's a felony right there, right? Grand Theft Auto.
So
But
in that sense, if they were able to make changes in that way, it potentially could affect the industry. In
yeah,
the positive way.
Corca's happening. The House holds goods bill. Pardon. So they're working on some things. I'm not going to hold my breath, but it's positive to see these changes.
Oh, absolutely. And, we're supporting them as well, just trying to give the statistics to a lot of folks that are, say, on Capitol. They don't know about this kind of, why would you, if you're not involved within the industry? And it's one of those where it affects everybody. It affects all Americans, anyone who's really affected, really the world, because, you could talk about inflation, but guess what? If everything's being stolen, the prices are coming back on the consumer, not on the
it's
companies
not
that are
company
manufacturing.
X's
They're not gonna
insurance
make
paying
less.
for it. We're paying for it.
We're paying for it, exactly.
Well, really appreciate it, Stephen. Thanks for sharing.
Thanks, Andre. Thank you.